Hi, everyone, all my beautiful soul family out there. And thank you for all your prayers. Today, I just finished publishing book number 7. Yeah, so I want to tell you a little story about this journey that I've been on for the last 3 years, writing books and documenting and recording legacy work. I was very blessed to study with some master healers back in the day because I had inherited some money when my grandparents died. And I thought the best thing I could do with that is invest in my education. And because I did, I have an education that you can't get in a normal school, and I created a holistic college, had to jump through a lot of red tape in Denver, Colorado to create that. And so I know what it's like for other schools. It's almost nearly impossible to offer certain things. But that first book that I wrote upon arrival to Albuquerque, because I had been asked so many times, was how do you know what you're allergic to? How do you know if you're sensitive to something? What are the signs? What are the symptoms? How do you know if you shouldn't eat something? How do you know about gluten? How do you know about dairy? And so the very first thing I did upon arriving here in a snowstorm and a windstorm and a wildfire and a tornado. That's how I got to Albuquerque, by the way. If you want to go back and look at my videos, there's a few of them talking about that. So, welcome to Albuquerque. I thought, oh, this is going to be the end of me. Little did I know. But I, came to Albuquerque because I was offered a position and got my licensing in order. And when it came in, I went in to do the onboarding process with the school and found out the person who had hired me didn't have the authority to hire me. So, surprise, surprise, I punted like a normal person would. Positive, affirmative action, divine goddess, set here on planet Earth to blaze paths is kind of what it feels like some days. I wrote the book on the Conscious Food Journal, and it's really aimed at helping us day to day identify our allergies and our food sensitivities. And so by tracking it and by documenting your food intake and investigating your supplements and looking at manufacturers' ingredient lists and cooking your own food, making sure it's organic. Because, of course, if you're still eating processed food and, fast food, of course you're going to have allergies. Of course you're going to have sensitivities because you're not meant to digest that much antibiotics and pesticides and fertilizers in your food. It's just the human body doesn't do that without getting sick. So those things have to be eliminated first, and then we can fine tune it to specifics. And the food journal is a 4-month journal that you can get and help find and pinpoint what your hidden allergies and sensitivities are. Then if you want to, you can do a consultation with me, or you can take it to your own nutritionist or your own gastro doctor or naturopath, whoever's helping you along your journey to pinpoint those things. And that journal becomes a part of your medical record. It becomes your history. It's a test that you're taking and you're documenting, just like they do when they take your blood. They document. So with that being said, that book was published right after I got here. And so that was book number 1, because I've done 4 since I've been here. And then the next book was a harder book. It was one that really pulled it out of me and took me back about 15 years in time to about 7, 8 years ago. And so I had a hard time with that book because that book really was how I cut my teeth on natural medicine. And it was called Out of the Shadows of Breast Implant Illness, a Spiritual Journey. Because that illness that I developed after getting breast implants really set me on the path, the journey toward healing myself. That one very bad, toxic decision really affected me. It doesn't everybody, but it did me. I do know a lot of other women that it does, and we're all in support groups trying to help each other get well. But with that being said, I almost immediately in 1980 started taking classes in nutrition, in supplements, in essential oils, in herbs, in different things so that I could learn how to take care of myself. Doing colonics, detox, detox, detox. And detox worked for me. I wasn't going to find out why for about 35 years. It was because I had the MTHFR defective genes, which do not allow us to methylate or detox like some people have the gift of. And so when I would do colonics and I would detox, I would feel better immediately. I never liked doing them, still don't like doing them, but I love the results. And my head is clear, the brain fog is gone, my throat, sometimes you can hear it gets more raspy than others. I just have a tremendous amount of allergies, and a lot of it was largely due to the heavy metals and the chemicals that were in the breast implants. Those silicone implants, and they're all silicone. They all have that membrane of silicone, every one of them, even the saline ones. They may be filled with something different, but they all have silicone, and it biodegrades the minute it goes into your body. So it can migrate to other parts of your body, your neck, under your arms, your lymphatics. You can see the little mutations of silicone. Silicone was developed by Dow Corning to kill cockroaches. So I tell my ladies in our support group and my friends that we help, my clients, that we're stronger than cockroaches. So, and they're hard to kill. So, hey, we're tough. We're tough. We're strong. We developed an immunity. And it cost us. It cost us a lot. It costs a lot of women a lot. And some of them, their lives. Some of them got into the system, figured out what was wrong, and no one would help them. They got gaslighted by the medical community, by the insurance companies, by their doctors. They couldn't get help from their families and committed suicide. And I've heard that story more than once. So it is with some of that my heart goes out. And I deeply understand being lied to, being gaslighted, not having true informed consent, because that's an unjust death that didn't need to happen had things been set right. And sometimes the only good we can make out of anything is that bad stuff happens so that the corrections can get made. It doesn't make their deaths okay, but it makes the people who have a caring heart and a thinking mind try to come up with other solutions so that it doesn't happen to other people. So we become advocates, we become politicians, we try to get legislation done, we lobby the FDA, we get state laws changed so that those things don't happen again. But they do. And that's the sadness of it all. That book, Breast Implant Illness, A Spiritual Journey, was really the story, if you can read between the lines, of empowerment for me and standing up for who I was, am, and will be. And with that being said, read the book, and then you'll get mad, and then hopefully you'll get active, and you'll help participate in the change. We're going to do what we can, because it's not okay that genocide continues to happen with women just from breast implants. Now, the next book I wrote while being here in Albuquerque was called The Spa Whisperer Shares Her Secrets. As many of you know, I had holistic schools that my students developed holistic medical spas or salons or clinics from after their education was complete. And so not only did I have quite a few of my own spas, 6 massage schools, the holistic colleges in Denver, and then a bunch of classes around the country. But I've helped all my students, not all of them, but a lot of them, to go on and develop their own healing concepts and ideas that worked for them personally. Because I have access to hundreds of modalities and techniques and thousands of products. I mean, everywhere from supplements to Bach remedies to nutritional products to ASEA, which is a fabulous product, devices, energy devices, frequency devices, and now the Tesla biohealers. We all have access to these, or we don't all, but you can have access to those by taking classes with me and getting certified in that. And those things make a difference. And so we can pick and choose when you want to use my services for a spa. I mean, we can do hyperbaric chambers, we can do far infrared saunas, cellulite wraps, treatments for cellulite, lasers. We can do all kinds of things. And we can design a menu that works for your specific clientele or your specific interest, and keep it in integrity so that everything kind of flows together. And I think that's an art. It's like, remember the old days when the horse whisperer books and movies came out? My grandfather was a horse whisperer, by the way. And he had a sense, he had a tone for the horse. He heard them, he could communicate with them. That's how I am about spas, because a spa to me is a sacred sanctuary to go and regenerate yourself, to heal, to let go, to commune with God, to raise your frequency, to help with your own ascension, to shed your conditioning, to develop stronger self-love, and to love yourself. People don't go to spas because they hate themselves. They go there because they deserve it, and they know that, and they feel good about it, and they get a huge benefit. The exposure to someone who is giving love and service when they're giving you a massage or a facial or a lymphatic drainage treatment or something, that it's a wonderful gift to receive for yourself, but also to allow them to give. And so with that being said, I'm going to move on. And the book that I just published this morning, which was my plan to be my last book, but I can already tell you it's not going to be, because I've got a couple more projects I'm still working on. The book I published this morning is called Dissipating. And the name of it came out of my 1988 near-death experience in Midland, Texas, when I had the shrimp allergic reaction and went into anaphylactic shock and went on over to the other side and met my maker and was greeted by Jesus himself and taken on over into the transition. and learned a lot of things about using love as a medicine, using love as the frequency for healing, and how to love ourselves better. I mean, what better gift than to be taught by Jesus himself how to love yourself? I mean, that alone it made my life, you know. And then to go on a tour to the old, ancient, etherical Asclepius temples was absolutely fabulous and most blessed for me. But it changed my life, and it changed how I practiced. It changed how I thought. It changed how I related, and I've been greatly disappointed. Of course, I had high expectations that everybody would get it, and that's what everybody wanted. So I had to learn to let that ego go. And a lot of people practice deception. They practice secrecy. They're not honest with themselves, and they're not honest with the world around them. That's how the ego grows and becomes exorbitant. And then we all have initiations. You remember the initiation of exposure to a narcissist? Oh, I do. I remember my initiation. It was a shock. And then you get exposed. Another initiation is betrayal. Someone you love dearly just devastates you and rips your soul out because you gave them all your trust. And those are all initiations that, let's call us, I don't know what to call us. I've always struggled with that. Oracles of healing, calling, the people who are naturally born, maybe people who are empathic, who can sense feelings. But even an empath has to learn to let it go and to not take it on. And there are certain techniques that I cover in some of my books about that, so that an empath can be a neutral diagnostic instrument, like an x-ray machine, and scan you. I was recently reading an article about the new med beds that are coming, and even when you do the med bed, you may be changing things physiologically within your body. You may help your thyroid, you might help your liver, you might help your lungs, you might help all kinds of things and have it transformed. But if you don't change what's up here in your mind and your thinking that got you to that place, then you could be right back there within days. So it's all mindset work. It really is. When you can tap into, and you all have access to, the mind of God. So when you can tap into that and download and listen and rapport with divine creator source energy, not AI, you're not talking to artificial intelligence here. You're not talking to a human being who's been programmed and conditioned in a certain set of patterns and responses. You're talking to your creator, okay? Then you are fixing this. And you all have the power to do that. And that's what my courses teach you, because that's what Jesus taught me. That's what going to the Asclepius temples in 1988 taught me. Let me see if I have anything else to add to this. Anyway, remember, I've had over 50 years this year in the spa industry. In one way or another, I started out as a personal trainer, helping people lose weight and work out on equipment and do body wraps and massages and facials, get swimming laps in, time them, measure them, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it was hard work, but it was fun. And I was young and I could handle it. And, then that led me into modeling and a business career and finance and insurance and real estate and all kinds of things. So I have that well-rounded business acumen, as well as the academic training, as well as all this experience. And, the breast implants were definitely my nemesis to force me to work and heal myself. And after those were removed, within days, the brain fog lifted, the lymphatics came back, or diminished, actually. I could see my neck again, is what I'm really meaning to say there. I could walk. I was in a wheelchair before that. And I got it. I started the support groups in Arizona thinking if I could only help 20 women, just 20, then it would be worth it. It would be worth it. And within 2 years, by the time I left and moved to Portland, we had over 2,000 women that we were helping and supporting and advocating and helping to match up with the doctors and procedures and detox and lymphatic work and supplements and how to get ready for their surgeries, and just being there with them, holding their hand, giving them rides to the doctor, to the hospital, sitting with them after their surgeries. It was a phenomenal time in my life, and it blessed me. It blessed me. I saw things, though, that women shouldn't see, that they shouldn't know about. I had one client who literally shot someone and went to jail. And she was out of her mind crazy with the aluminum levels, were the highest I'd ever seen in her charts, in her hair mineral tests. She couldn't get them down. And heavy metal toxicity can make you do a lot of crazy things. Those implants have a lot of heavy metals in them, and heavy metals block absorption of nutrients into your gut. So a lot of the women who go through heavy metal toxicity or poisoning, and it's not just breast implants, it's in our life, it's in our diet, it's in our mainstream general processed food that they feed us. Heavy metals, look it up, call me, text me, email me. It's something that you can find a practitioner, look for a naturopath, look for a chiropractor who can help you with that test. Go to our website. We've got some resources on there. Anyway, a long time ago, I had survived a couple of things when I was very young. One of them was a death experience after being orphaned. And I don't remember how much longer after that happened, but I remember this kind of a guru, minister, spiritual leader guy. He said to me, someday you're going to write a book. But he said, you're going to have to get really still and really quiet to hear the voice of God come through you and what to say, because you have a lot of stories to tell. Those words, I don't know if they programmed me or conditioned me toward that path, but they stuck with me. They rang true and resonated with me, even as a small child. And so when I came to Albuquerque, I came here to make money. I came here to help people learn how to stay healthy, how to get well. I came here to develop a relationship with my daughter, who had been traumatized as a child and kept her secrets. I came here to rebuild. But those are not the things that happened. What happened was what that man told me. He said, you're going to have to come into a peaceful place, to quiet. You're going to have to be like in a cave to write this book. Albuquerque's my cave, because I don't associate with what's out there. It's a high crime town, high crime. I've had things stolen from me, property, products, equipment, jewelry that I went to sell so that I could survive things after I went into a downturn financially. I've literally lost over $50,000 in this city in 6, 7 months. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, that's the price of getting 4 books done. Nobody gave me the money to write the books. I didn't get an advance. I did it myself. I shut the world out. I didn't allow any distractions to come in, except for worrying about what's going to happen next. And I still do that. I wake up every morning and like, but it goes away. I get back into the Word of God. I get back into my heart. I look at my paintings that tell me the stories. And I keep going. You can too. If you made it through narcissism, you can write a book. If you made it through betrayal in a marriage, a relationship, you can write a book. There's stories in you, but you gotta not be distracted. Yes, there's some technical things you need to learn. There's some discipline you need to have. I can help you with those things. That's easy. And I love doing it. I helped a couple hundred people write their books before I ever wrote one, other than a manual for teaching a class or something like that. But it's all about getting quiet and listening to the divine intelligence that we all have contact with. We don't need AI. That's almost demonic. We don't need to bypass our own divine source connection. We need to strengthen that connection. We need to find that peace of God, because it's in us. It's the awareness in us, of us, in our soul. You know, Dissipating is a book that was a long time coming. I had those experiences with the Holocaust survivors in Portland that I helped be their caregiver for. And then I've had a lot of death experiences in my life. I started the book with my sister's death experience as a young baby. And then my own experience at 4 years old being left for dead. And then I talked about my near-death experience. And then I talked about losing my grandparents. And I tried to come up with different scenarios and different ways that the world around us manages and has us step through our grief. But also, I put a tone into it of strength for you to recover. Because one of the things I've learned about grieving is that it is a symptom of love. The people that love you are the ones who are going to miss you. The people that you love the most are the ones you're going to miss the most. And it really is a blessing to know that we can love. That's what we're here for. Mwah. Until we meet again, all of the books are on Amazon. Please go there and buy them and support this work, because we need to. And I look forward to someday opening I'm calling them right now, for lack of a better name, sanctuary transition centers. A place where you can die in peace with high frequency tools and equipment and devices and support and divine wisdom. So you can just lay down the body and gently transcend. And that's how death is supposed to be, natural, not medicated, not harsh, not painful. And when we remove our resistance, our resentments, our regrets, our disappointments, that's what it'll be. So I think sometimes I put off writing this book because I thought, well, it's my last book and it's about death and dying. And what if I write this book and then I'm dead? And I had to embrace that fear. It's just my ego. It's not the truth. So you've got something blocking you. Find out what it is. And if I can help, just call. Just let me know. Mwah! All my love. Have a beautiful day, you beautiful souls. Bye-bye.